Hello everyone and welcome to Nerd Goblin Art. I'm Lula. Resiners very kindly sent me the dual-sided UV lamp, so we're gonna have a little play with it. And as usual, it was really well packaged. It came in a well packaged box, and of course once you open that delivery box, you get the actual Resiners one inside. So it comes with these UV protective glasses, which are great because of course it is a dual-sided lamp and you want to protect your eyes. So if you do get one of these, please make sure that you're using it. It is important. So nicely packaged, of course, and I keep these things because they might be useful in some kind of, bash modelling or building or something like that. And out comes the actual lamp. So it also comes with a screwdriver. So when you get it, you can check out and see whether you're happy with the mechanisms, if it's too loose or anything like that. Of course, use the screwdriver, lefty loosey, righty tighty. It is that simple. And it comes with a tray as well, and the tray and the stands there, the little stands, they've all got protective coverings on, so we'll be taking those off shortly. In your little baggie you get said screwdriver, so that's nice and handy. And I always keep little screwdrivers. I keep them on my desk in one of my jars, and of course a USB cord, and this is to charge it up because it is rechargeable, yes, and a nice long cord as well. It's always nice to get a good length on them. And here is the user manual, and I don't care, you should check them out. I know a lot of people are like, hey, I don't look at the instructions, but look at them, and if you look at them, you know what you're doing. And even though I did look at it, I didn't realize that pressing and holding the button in a certain way, you can actually turn off the use of the bottom light as well. So if you're not needing the dual side so much, you can actually switch it up. And I learned that later on, even though I did look at the instructions, but sometimes you don't always take it in, do you? But I don't tend to keep the boxes, but I definitely keep a pile of all the user manuals. And you've got a few different times. You've got 2, 5 and 8 minutes. And yeah, it is always really useful. And of course, you can also get further information on their website. So I'm just removing the protective covering. I did consider not taking it off to give it a bit of protection because I am a messy crafter, but if I hadn't, it's not gonna, these are almost like sucker type, not suckers but sucker, it kind of sticks to them. It helps the shelf not move too much, as you'll see in a moment, because I'll show you. It's not really difficult to get it off. If you press it down a bit more like that, you can get a good bit of traction on it. But it's worth taking it off, I guess, because not only am I a messy crafter, I'm also a clumsy crafter. So it is a good thing really to have that option. And of course the bottom, the little feet as well, got protection on them too. Remember your protection, kids. That'll help it from slipping around too much. So yeah, there we go. So this is currently having a charge up. I'm going to try the glasses on, of course, because they're important. And I'm going to give it another 20 minutes or so. It should be fully charged soon enough, but just checking that it does work. So you push and hold, and then you can choose the setting that you want, which is easy, simple, and that's what we want, don't we? We don't want it to be overly complicated, not too much anyway. So gonna let this charge up a bit longer and then we'll get to trying it out. Here we go. It is fully charged, and I was having a little think of all the bits and pieces that I could be doing. So we've got some open bezels, we've got some glass cabochons, and this is actually from a paint pour that I did. I saved some skins, and I thought, wouldn't that be really lovely to make a pendant out of? And doing this is really simple. All you need to do is, well, first of all, of course, put on your gloves. Yes, that is magic. Yes. So you choose the part that you like, and then you get your UV resin, you put a little dot there, and then you just carefully place your glass cabochon over it, obviously checking and looking out for any bubbles, because we don't want any dastardly bubbles under there, and you can just cure it up. And I will say as well that I do end up doing another glass cabochon, because, you know, there's enough space on here for more, so I do end up doing an extra one. Of course, the dual-sided part isn't a thing for this, because it's not going to penetrate through the through that paint pour. But as I said, I didn't realise till afterwards that you can actually turn off the bottom one if you don't actually want to use, if you don't need to use the underside. But you know, we all learn. I'm not perfect, so yeah. And yes, look at me, check me out in my snazzy glasses. Yes, very nice. So as I said, I did an extra one. I did a heart-shaped one, and don't they look lovely? And that was just 2 minutes. 2 minutes under the lamp, and we got some beautiful pieces of jewellery there. And it's just a case of getting your glue and popping them into these things. The name has just escaped me. I'll remember it later at some point. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just using my green stuff glue. I'm really enjoying this glue at the moment. It is super strong and it sets really quickly. So tiny little drop in there, and they are looking amazing. I just used a cutting board and my craft knife just to cut around, and there we go. Absolutely beautiful. And I really enjoy doing the paint pouring. I can't wait to do some more. So next we're going to try using these open bezels, and for that I'm going to be using my Resiners tape. Now this is specifically for UV jewellery, and it's important to use because it is heat resistant to a certain point, of course, and you're not going to get any yucky residues on there. So I'm going to give both the open bezels, the square and the moon, just a coating of clear UV to start with. I'm going to do something different with both of them, just for us to check out and test out how we do with the dual sides. And I'm using my long neck lighter. That helps dispense with any naughty dastardly bubbles. And just like that, sitting them on there, and on the lamp goes. I'm only pouring it on for 2 minutes for this one because it is clear. And if you noticed, I got a lollipop stick there. That's just for me to be able to move the pieces around. So this is a hole punch. It is a Star Wars Rebels one, and that is basically sticky back plastic, but it has the holographic top into it, which is little stars. And what I like using these for is putting them into the pendant moulds. The backing of it, the white backing comes off like that. You just peel it away. It does work better in the doing this actual effect works better in the deeper cabochon trays. And I will show you that at another video. But I thought it'd be cool to have a go in these thinner ones. I just sprayed it with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. That was just to get rid of the stickiness. Of the stickiness of the actual sticker and to stop it from sticking to my to my glove, and that worked a treat. So I've just put on another thin layer of the UV resin to this bezel, and that has been cured. So we're going to put on some poison. This is a pigment powder from the Tiny Turner. They're available from Wendy at Toonpish Scraps, and of course I will link anything possible, where possible, in my description box down below. I also have a discount code for Resiners, so if you are interested in purchasing one of these dual lights or mixers, anything like that, you can use my discount code to save yourself some pennies. And for the moon one, I'm using Starlight, and it's a really lovely colour actually. And as with many of the the chameleons or ethereals, you are going to get more of a blaster colour by using black. So there you go. So this is actually a charm, and it's an Alice in Wonderland one. And I've been holding on to it for the longest time, so I thought let's make a keyring out of it. So I'm using some coloured UV. Of course, not everybody can afford or have the coloured UVs, and I promise I will do a future video on mixing mica powders into your UV resin and such. But for on this occasion, it's worth checking out and testing with the dual light just to see how well it works with it. So I've mixed in blue, a purple and a pink, and just given it a little mix around because it is Alice in Wonderland, so I wanted it to be a little bit more special than just being one colour. And I've just put that the coloured UV resins into some of the spaces, and I will also give it a clear UV topping as well. The moon bezel is hanging over the edge because of the shape of the clasp, or I can't think of what it's called. We'll call it a nub. I call everything the nub. It wouldn't allow the bezel to sit flat otherwise, so that's handy as well, having the shelf thing. So I'm going to use some black UV resin to back these ones, and because as I said, using the chameleon powders or anything such as that, you are going to get the most effect from the darker backing. And again, I've already said, I promise I will do a video mixing mica powders and showing you how to use the alcohol inks as well with your UV lamps. I will do that probably next week on another video, and we can test this lamp out a little bit more as well, because I do like to give them a good try over a number of weeks. Just had a little bit of a hair in there. This black UV does like to hide its bubbles for a few more moments, so it's always worth keeping an eye on that. So on goes the lamp, and this time I'm putting it on for 5 minutes. And just taking them off the tape. It is very unusual to be able to use the tapes again, so if you can, obviously, if you're a bit frugal. But I don't seem to be able to get the majority of the bezels off without tearing them. Isn't that lovely? I absolutely love that. Wasn't sure whether to put a backing on there, but I think it's absolutely fine as it is. But off camera, I do give it a clear coating. So there is the Rebels one. I think you might understand why I say that this does work better in the deeper cabochon moulds. But aren't they pretty? They're really lovely. There's something on there. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's not resin, and it might be like I just said, I just tore some of the tape, so it might be that, but it's absolutely fine, it comes off. I have decided just to give these two just a top coat with the clear UV to give it a slight doming. It just, I think it helps pop the colour that I used a little bit more, and it looks a lot nicer as well. It's essentially, if you're new to the UV world and such, a lot of people call it doming, and that's just what it is. It's just giving almost like a bubble to the top of your makes. Some people can do it with UV resin, but I'm rubbish. I still haven't picked up that skill of doming things with the epoxy. So they're done. They've had their top coat, and as you can see, I think they look a lot nicer just with that little pop on the top. So I had some happy mail. Yes, I did. From the lovely Steffi Poos. Yes. Oh, I've had a rough couple of weeks with pain. Steph has a channel of her own. It is Highland Homemade Crafts, so please check her out. I will list her down below, but how gorgeous is that? She also sent me some stickers from my Amazon wish list, which is listed below. Always appreciated, and these are just going to be fun to try out. They are listed as pendant or keyrings. A little bit weird that they come with 2 nubs in each dinosaur, so I'm not entirely sure of the intention of them, because they've all got them, you know. So you'd think that at first I was like, oh, the bigger dinosaurs, you latch on the small dinosaur below it, but then the little dinosaurs got the 2 nubs as well. So anyway, I don't know, I digress. So yeah, I've decided just to do the 1 tray because these are quite chunky. They're quite chunky monkey-ish. And you've got to remember as well to do these in layers. Don't try pushing your UV resin, because you're going to end up having more work to do. It's going to take longer and it might cause mess, and you may end up wasting your UV resin as well. So always best to work in your layers, especially with the more chunkier moulds. And as you can see there, I'm going around with my silicone tool just to encourage any of the bubbles. This one is a little bit more detailed. I kind of wish I'd done the other molds because the dinosaurs on the other one haven't got as many like spikes and detail to them. So it is what it is. This is what I did, and using the long neck lighter as well. And there's also a little bit of detail on the bottom of these molds as well, like there's an eye and stuff like that, and that's where the bubbles do like to sit. So doing my best to make sure we get that cleared away. And I figured doing a coat of the clear UV to start with, I just think it looks better from making quite a few key rings and such now. I just think it gives a nicer look, regardless of what you're going to do with them. When they're chunky like this, building them up in the layers and adding colour to them, glitter to them, stuff like that, it really does make it look a bit more special. But of course, because this is the dual-sided lamp, it is taking less time, because usually I would have to, you know, with any of the other lamps that I have used, I would do the one side, then you turn it over, you got to do the... So this is really, it is cutting the time down anyway. So on 2 or 3 of these, I think maybe 2, I'm using some wicker pigment powder, and we're going to see how well this lamp deals with these. Oh, it's 3. It is 3. And with 2 of them, to the other 2, I'm going to be adding some chunky glitter. Now that is the test, because of course the way UV lighting works, well, UV resin works I should say, is the light needs to penetrate through to cure it. If you're new to resin, epoxy resin, it won't do anything until it's mixed. So part A and part B, you mix it, and then that's when the thermochromatic thing and all that stuff happens, and it heats up, and whether it's 1 hour, 2 hour, 24 hour, or you get your UV resin, and it's in the name, it needs the light of UV to cure, and that's why we need the lamps. And of course, if you've got a sunny day and you put your UV resin make outside, it's going to take about 20 minutes or so, depending on the amount of light. But even on a cloudy day, it will still cure. So a lot of us like to do a lot of our UV resin in the evenings or when it's dark, but I needed to get it done in the day. So I am working. It's not too bad. It is overcast, so it does slow the process down just that little bit. So that's what's great with this lamp, is because it's sitting on the shelf, on this little shelf, pouring it on there, the UV will be able to penetrate obviously both sides, so it's not as much of an issue, because if it's, if you're using a one-sided lamp, you will inevitably have to flip the mould over just to make sure that you've got all of that UV resin covered, because the chunky glitter is more likely to hide some of it. So yeah, we'll see how this does with just the 5 minutes under the lamp once we're done filling it all in. With the last little one, I'm just going to add some coloured UV, and I'm just going to mix it up again. I'm going to use a blue and a green just to see how well it goes. And as I said, these are chunkier moulds, so I'm pouring in a little bit more than I usually would. And with the dinosaurs that I've put the mica powder in with, I'm going to be topping these up with some black UV. Of course, because the black UV is a little bit more costly, I could have just topped it up more with some more clear and then added a thinner layer of the black on top. But, there are ways of being a bit more frugal. But yeah, it's a bit thicker, this resin as well, so I think there's still the option, I still think some of this light will get through the mica powder, so to make sure it is fully cured. But the good thing about this particular the black UV, it is designed for this, I have no idea what I'm saying. I've lost my trail of thought. So that has come out beautifully. Look at that. Look at that. No residue left inside the moulds either, which is a really good sign. And we've got the one I did with the coloured UV, and that's looking really cute. He's really sweet. I like him. And these ones, these colours never fail to make me go, oh, look at that. But you see what I mean by doing a layer of clear first and then adding your colour or your glitter or whatnot. It just really does, to me, make a difference anyway. So all of these have come out and there's no bubbles. Yes, I don't see any bubbles. I do see some cleaning up I need to do just on the sides, but that is easily sorted out with a deburring tool or a craft knife. And that's come out really lovely. Really pleased with this. And so far, first try with this lamp, I'm really, really impressed. So when I had the Let's Resin lamp to try out, I used this mould. Now is it designed for using UV? Not really, but it is a good test. It is a really good test to try out. It is pretty thin on the bottom, so will this work quicker than the, I'm forgetting my words, where I had to do one side and then turn it over. So will this cure in one sit? Well, it's going to be two because I'm going to be putting another colour on top once this layer is, once we've done this one. That was some isopropyl alcohol mixed with some of my favourite tiny Turner powders. It's like a make yourself Malibu type of glitter thing, and I just poured them in. So just with the clear and that little bit of a glitter mixture, I'm just popping in a little bit more clear because we can, I think we can get away with it a bit more, and I'm just gonna see if just 5 minutes, if 5 minutes will work with these ones. These are a bit more, I wonder. So I'm just putting a thin layer of the black UV. Now I'm putting this on simply because I want the effect. I want the sparkle effect that mixture I squirted in will give. And these are matte moulds, so once they are out, I will have to give them just a very thin layer of the clear UV just to make them nice and shiny. But I'm really interested to see how well these come out, because as I said, they had just 5 minutes with the clear and then another 5 minutes with the black. And what took ages without a dual-sided lab has taken a lot less time. That has worked. That has worked. So I will put on a fresh pair of gloves, and off camera I will give them a little coating of clear UV just to make them shiny. And there they are. They're really pretty. I'm really chuffed that it worked this time. It didn't work so well on the with the other one. So yeah, really pleased. And I'm going to add some like little Bailey thingy. I forget, I can never remember the name of the things, but these are little pendants basically. I love them. I have the large versions which you can rest like chopsticks on and stuff, and they're one of my favourite moulds, but I love that they got the baby ones. I use the mirrored pens, Arrtx, oh my goodness, acrylic pens, just to give these little dinosaurs a little bit of their detail, because I just think they're so sweet. And you know, a lot of the time I'm like, oh, you don't have to worry about things like that, but these did. So we're gonna make these up, and I'm just going to show you the putting together of one of the necklaces. I'm not going to have you sit through me putting all these together, because it really does take me a bit of time, because I have to have many rests, and because of my neck, because my neck is an issue, and lots of stopping, stretching, coming back to it, and I'm sometimes losing the will. But I do actually find this part, I never used to like it, and I think I've said it quite a few times in videos that I don't like putting them together. I'm starting to enjoy it, you know, attaching the hardware and stuff like that. I'm actually starting to find it really relaxing. And I never thought that I would, but I am getting a bit better with them as well, with using my tools and such. The jump rings and such, these all are available from Amazon, from Temu, from AliExpress, and I'm sure any craft shops that you may have access to. I'm not so lucky in my area. They're not as stocked for stuff like this. You know, like the hobby craft shops, they'll start you off on a hobby, but they don't stock things for when you're like really moving on and you want more of the stuff. So yeah, it's only online I'm able to. So I've attached those, and there is a necklace. Absolutely beautiful. I'm so pleased with this. Really pleased with it. I'm going to make up the the other parts are mainly going to be key rings. I did have a go at attaching some jump rings to the dinosaurs, but I don't have jump rings big enough because, like I said, they're quite chunky, and even the larger jump rings that I did dig out afterwards from one of my other drawers, they're just too thick to get through the hoop, the actual nubs. So I will come up with something instead, but we shall see. So first impressions, I think it's lovely. I think it's a really nice size and it works. It really does work, but we'll see. I'm going to do a few more, you know, obvious videos and trying it out, see what we can do with it. And I will say, I wish it had a button. I wish it beeped when it finishes, because I'm wearing the goggles and you can't always see properly when the light goes off. I hope you enjoyed watching. Love you and stay weird.
The nerd goblin whispers in my ear, stay weird, stay wild, no need to fear. She molds her dreams with resin and clay. Whimsical wonders brighten the day. Stay wonderfully weird, let your colors unfold. Frogs and dragons, stories untold. Crocodiles dance in a resin sea. Stay weird, stay wild, stay beautifully free. She paints the night with the dragon's flame. In her hands the world's never the same. Frogs in hats and crocodiles grin, each creation a spark where dreams begin. Stay wonderfully weird, let your colors unfold. Frogs and dragons, stories untold. Crocodiles dance in a resin sea. Stay weird, stay wild, stay beautifully